This program was brought to you by Coller Institute of Venture at Tel Aviv University.
Okay, so that was a nice...
What happens in the end?
I'll show you what happens in the end from our perspective, and I'll come back to this. This was a proposal for developing a game. As you've seen, a very visual game, a crowd-oriented game, meaning that people will play this, take on roles, and play this. Now, this game doesn't exist yet. This is a game that the creator of the game wants to fund. Okay? Now, assuming we were sitting on the board of a VC fund, we would be presented with this very striking and nice illustration of graphics. But then we want to discuss these points that they made in the opening.
Blah, blah.
Like, this is a PC game, right? It's not a console game or a cell phone game, which is today considered the bon ton. This is where the industry is going, okay? And this is, there are many questions that we would ask whether we want to fund this game, because it's actually against part of the current let's say, hotspots of game development. Okay, so what do you think? This game will or will not be? Would you support the development of this game? Well, I'll give you a quick answer. Fortunately for the guys who developed this game, they don't really ask the VC world what to do. They decided that this game is good for crowdfunding. And if the crowds like it, then they don't have to go to a panel of 5 people who have to give their opinion. The crowd will say if they want it or not. And this is the center of this next topic, a few minutes. So first of all, the definition of a crowdfunding. A crowd, in this sense, is a small investments or donations from a very large number of donors, of providers or investors. Funding is to fund projects, and it's done over the internet. Now, first of all, fundraising was successful for this game. Okay? It went and raised $2 million in 32 days back in November of last year, November 2012. So it's a huge success. They had a target of $500,000. 34,000 backers, okay, bought. What did they buy? They bought future pieces of this virtual world. Okay, remember, it's a virtual world that doesn't exist, okay? And you're buying things that won't exist either, but virtual positions in this virtual world a year and something before it comes into life.
That's what we call Luftgeschäft.
Yeah, but this Luftgeschäft has a lot of money into it. Right. You could be a rear admiral for $275 or a scout for $30. And all this, 34,000 people decided it's a good game. So no one had to ask, these people with the special knowledge. It's just the consumers were asked. And this is a very strong attribute of crowdfunding. The idea is that you pre-sell the new product, and then you have both a financing source, and you also have a marketing answer. Okay? So crowdfunding is a big thing, and it has been growing significantly. Over the last, like in 2012, $2.7 billion were raised for thousands and thousands of projects using crowdfunding. And this forecast is forecasted to grow to $5.1 billion in 2013. So $2 million is a great success, right? Well, let me show you what's happening with this project now. The owner of the project decided, well, if people like it so much, I can go out of Kickstarter, which is the channel he used for the first crowdfunding, and I'll raise more money. If I raise more money, I can have more participants and expand the world, meaning invest another $1 million and I'll build you one more galaxy and I'll give each one of your jet fighters, 3 more bombs. With, like, okay, so remember, this was September 12 when he started and raised the 2012. So he extended the target, and by the end of the year, he had 3 million. This is all by people who want to be a rear admiral for $250 in next year's game. So you think that's a lot? Okay, since we're short on time. Currently, I skipped that just a second. You see that he set goals. That's when every goal was reached, right? So I'll go down just to see what the current goal is. Okay? Here we are now. Okay? 31st of August, 230, that means 2 days ago. Okay? Less than a year, he achieved the $17 million financing goal.
Engine modifier.
Okay, and what he gave for that goal is all kinds of features like every pledger who backs before 17 will receive a ship upgrade package containing an engine modifier, and Star Citizen will finish additional flyable ship classes and battle cruisers.
Of course.
Okay?
It's the cruisers that makes the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what we needed.
but you know, don't kick it. Today he's 62% into the $18 million target, and I think that they will have to decide when they want to stop. The crowd won't stop them. Okay? The game is going to, first of all, it's not developed yet. This is crowdfunding for the innovation, for the R&D. It's going to be released next year in stages. So this is just a map of the world. You see that crowdfunding is mostly in the Western world, and US is leading with strong take-up in Europe. The rest of the world is way behind. There are different types of crowdfunding. Donations, which is the classic place where crowdfunding started, meaning that people would put a social cause on the internet and people would donate money. Rewards, which is the largest category, which is the one we talked about. Okay, when you pre-buy, most rewards are buying future products. Some rewards are recognition. Invest $5 and get your name in the list of the people who supported this project. Now rewards, they provide direct market feedback, and they also give the customers a feeling of participation. So there could be situations where customers invest more because it's a future game they invested in, rather than less because it's not developed. Okay? So this is, again, a self-fulfilling positive feedback loop. Crowdfunding is gaining a lot of momentum. More crowdfunding we've seen, more projects, higher sum than legislation. For example, in the US, an act called the Jobs Act was signed a year ago by Obama to enable, wait, I'll get to that, to enable these investments from the public without a prospectus. And the idea is that you circumvent the current industry and you allow for raising of limited sums from certain individuals. In the UK, by the way, it's already possible under certain limitations. And in the UK, you have crowdfunding sites that give equity. In the US today, they only give rewards and pre-sale like we've seen.
AngelList in the US.
Sorry?
There's AngelList.
You have to pre-order.
Yes, but that's a pre-qualification process.
In the UK, it's moving forward. People who wanted to, they were sick of the managerial process. They all invested together and went and bought a club, I think on the 3rd or 4th tier of football, and then they used the web to vote on what players they buy, what strategies they enact as well. So it's really moving across all sectors.
Needed conclusion.
Okay. 2 more facts. This is moving very fast. Just in January 2012, the first crowdfunding project secured more than $1 million. Okay, a year and something ago. In April, it took 28 hours for the next one to secure $1 million. It was the Pebble Watch. In 30-something days, it raised more than $10 million. And the entrepreneurs stopped this because they didn't want more money. Legislation came into place. I want to show you 2 things to conclude, and I won't go into the end of our research on this. This is the current breakdown of what happens in crowdfunding today. Still, most of the investments are in social causes, but there are significant portions now in real business and entrepreneurship. This is expected to grow significantly. And as an example, this is a crowdfunding project that did not succeed. You know, I don't want you to think that everything succeeds, but it's a real-world R&D project to develop a new smartphone. So a company, in this case in the UK, targeted $32 million as a target for developing this phone. They were unsuccessful. They raised only 12 and the project was shut down because the way you do it is if you don't reach the target, you don't take the money from the people. I'm showing you this for two reasons. One, not all crowdfunding projects succeed. And two, this is really mainstream. Okay, this is not already some fringe, or not even in the gaming industry. So crowdfunding is here to stay. I'll jump over the research that I will tell you about later and just summarize with this slide. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
This program was brought to you by Coller Institute of Venture at Tel Aviv University.